The end of the Kobe Bryant redemption journey is here. This is how it ends.
Oh my. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. A Kobe Bryant patch autograph. Woo! Number 4 of 10.
How is it going, everybody? And welcome back to my channel, Kobe Cards. We are nearing the 1 year point from the passing of Kobe Bryant. And I am here with the resolution to my case of what Panini will do about the Kobe Bryant autograph redemption situation. I feel like 1 year is an accurate representation of how long Panini needs to actually get just about anything done, to be honest. But nonetheless, here I am with my package and the long-awaited conclusion to the series that I started back on my channel all the way back in March, I believe. So with that being said, let's open this up first, even though I know pretty much how this is going to end just based on the packaging alone. But we'll open this up and then we'll talk a little bit about what I'm going to do with my pack, but also get into the reality of how Panini handled the situation across the board, and I'll give you some insights into how Panini decided who got autographs, who got redemption packs, and so on. So let's dive into this. So if you all remember, for me at least, this started with a 2019-20 Donruss Signature Series autograph redemption, and the card would have likely been a sticker auto, and also it would have been an unnumbered generic auto as well on top of that. So with that being said, here we go. Let's see if we can do this cleanly. Maybe it opens this way. All right. So here is a package. And then here is the standard letter that Panini sent to everyone. So it's been more than 9 months since the tragic and untimely passing of Los Angeles Lakers legend Kobe Bryant. Even now, fans across the globe, including all of us inside Panini America, are struggling to comprehend and cope with the loss. And then here is our process, and here's the information about the pack. So feel free to pause the video if you want to read this full thing. But also, they did put most of this on Panini's website too in their blog post. But like I said, pause if you want to keep reading. But we'll see the nice Panini CS box. And then if we open this up, we will see, and you guessed it, inside here is going to be a Panini redemption pack. So just so you can see it, that is what it looks like. It is just one pack. To keep it safe, I'm going to nicely slide it back in here and back in the original wrapping, because that is going to bring me to the next part of my video, which is what I plan to do with this pack, and then I'll get into the description of what Panini really did across the board. Unfortunately, for all of you guys who probably watched my last video and have an idea of what I'm going to do, I did decide that when I got my pack, I was going to sell it. Keep in mind, if you recall from that last video, there are only 3,024 of these packs in existence. So it is 1 out of 3,024, but I did decide, I am going to sell it. One of the ironic things is that I wrote so many emails to Panini saying, I refuse to accept a pack, whatever you do, don't send me a pack. If you're even thinking about sending me a pack, don't send me a pack and reach out to me. They clearly ignored every single email I sent them and still sent me this. Honestly, because probably Panini doesn't care is part of it. But either way, it is what it is. Could I go back to Panini and say, hey, I don't want this? Maybe. But I'm not going to do that, the reason is because the card that I did submit was approximately like a maybe $400 card at the time. These redemption packs are going for about $1,500 to $1,700 right now. So it would be kind of strange for me to go back to them and be like, hey, you gave me something worth $1,700. I refuse to accept it. And that's what gets me into the reason of selling, because if I sell this, I can then use that money to actually get myself a Kobe auto, and I can actually put that money back into my collection. As much as some people do like these packs, for me, even though they're very short print, they're very cool. You could hit a Zion, you could hit anything. For me, nothing really compares to a Kobe auto, and you can't get autos out of these packs or anything like that. And $1,500 is a lot of money. And with that, like I said, I'll probably just end up putting it back into my collection and getting something that I truly will cherish. I wish I could say I was cool enough to rip this pack open for all of you guys. But it's, like I said, $1,500, and that's a pretty big gamble, and one that I'm not willing to take right now, at least at this point on my channel. I really need to be making smart decisions. It's a tough time. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this. Okay, so with that being said, though, let's get into the part of the video that I think you guys do care about a lot more, which is, one, how are they going to handle the packs when people have different valued cards? So, for example, if someone was missing a Prism 1 of 1, you would expect that they'd get more than one pack like I got when, all I had was a Donruss autograph. So, question number one was, how do they handle the values, or are they just giving one pack to everybody and that's all you're going to get? The second question is, how did they decide who got autographs and who didn't? So what ended up happening to the Kobe Q, for instance, they were referencing? And by that, I mean someone who may have submitted their redemption request in 2018 and had been waiting for 3 years versus maybe someone who just pulled it and submitted a redemption a few weeks ago. Were those cases handled differently? So because those two situations kind of go hand in hand, we will be answering that together. And the answer to the question in general for what they did was they ended up doing a combination of both a Kobe Q mixed with the actual value of the card. So for example, the first thing they did was they made sure to honor as many one-of-ones as they could. Anything that Kobe signed that was a one-of-one, and you submitted a request for a one-of-one, they really worked to honor that. And then they worked their way down and sent out all of their cards numbered to 5 and numbered to 10. So they started with the most valuable and then worked their way back. So a lot of people ended up getting things like Cornerstones autos, which were relatively low numbered. And some people who submitted requests for autos, which had been even numbered to 25, were getting things that were numbered to 5 as a result. So in many cases early on, people benefited greatly and got highly valued cards, higher than what they submitted for at the beginning. But then things got really, really ugly, to say the least. So after that, there started to be cases where people who had similarly valued cards that were numbered to 25 started receiving things like unnumbered Contenders autos, which is still nice, but it's not a Cornerstones numbered to 5. So the question was then, what was the difference between someone who had two similar cards, one numbered to 25, the other also numbered to 25 from the same product even possibly? Why was one getting a Cornerstones auto and the other was getting just a regular Contenders auto? And the answer to that question was time. So this is where the Kobe Q comes into play. Essentially, time was the tiebreaker. So if you had something of extreme value, or you had been waiting a long time, you were very likely to, off the bat, get something of high value. The later you submitted your request and the lower the value, the more likely you were to get a redemption pack. So because mine was low value and probably submitted a lot later than people had been waiting years for Kobe autographs, I pretty much knew once I saw these start getting sent out that they were all going to be redemption packs from now on, and I was certainly going to get one. Putting it simply, they did run out of autographs apparently. Not everybody got autographs clearly, and they are absolutely going through these redemption packs and pretty quickly. With that being said, though, once everyone started getting these redemption packs, it was just one pack. It did not matter if you were supposed to get a Prism short print or, like I have, a Donruss base autograph. You were getting one pack. I was getting one pack, the same pack that someone who had a 10 times value card that I have was getting. Is that fair? Well, I think we all know it's not perfect, but with the current resale value of these packs being around $1,500 to $1,700 right now, there's not really much complaining that you can do. Because think of it from everyone's perspective. From my perspective, I turned a maybe $400 card into $1,500. So that's great for me, and obviously I can't complain about that on the grounds of I didn't get my value back. But let's look at it from the other person's perspective, who they submitted something worth $1,500 and they got this pack worth $1,500. Well, they can't complain on the grounds that they didn't get their value back either. They'd only be complaining that they didn't get more value back than someone else. In other words, you're going to make an argument that even though they remedied your situation fairly, it doesn't seem fair because you didn't get more than a fair deal, just like someone else got more than a fair deal. Like, I got more than a fair deal by $1,100 if you use the 1,500 versus 400 ratio, while someone else may say, I got 1,500 and submitted 1,500. So the argument would be, hey, you gave someone $1,100 more than a fair deal. Shouldn't I be getting like $2,600 worth of something? And at the end of the day, they're going to argue right back to you like, hey, we handled your situation fairly, even as you say that what we gave you was more than fair. So someone like me came out on the winning end. So if someone stocked up on Donruss autos and paid, $400 each when these first came out or something like that, like you would be coming out way, way, way ahead. And that's just the sad side of it, but the true side of it. And with that said, that was Panini's solution. Was it perfect? Obviously not. Did they get through this mess? Probably, because not a lot of people can argue that they didn't get their value back. There may be a bunch of one-off cases where people try to push back, but from most of the feedback that I'd received in the community, and trust me, I had dozens and dozens of emails and messages and comments from you guys, the overwhelming sense that I got is, it is what it is. They resolved my case. I can't really argue that, it's not fair at the end of the day, and I'm just moving on. A pack is nothing to scoff at. And if you did get an autograph, one of the last autos from Kobe signings, that is absolutely amazing. You're extremely lucky, or you got your autograph early on, submitted, or had something of high value. You probably deserved it if you had been waiting that long. But again, this was a total disaster for Panini. To be clear, from the start, just an absolute disaster. The fact that they even managed to get through it, hey, hats off that they even made it this far. And like I said, there may be one-offs, but for the most part, they're getting through it. And even someone like me who sent them 50 emails saying, don't send me this garbage, I'm just going to live with it as well. And it's sad. I know a bunch of you out there are like, darn, we were hoping you'd get an auto. And I'm probably thinking the same for a lot of you who ended up getting a redemption pack as well. Like, I'm wishing everyone could have had an auto. Like I said, what I'm doing, I'm going to sell it so I can try to get myself something special, so I can cherish that auto. And if that's how you feel, you're more than welcome to do that. Or you can open it up and have some really cool limited edition, like totally limited edition Mosaic cards. I may not be the biggest fan. It may be too rich for my blood to gamble like that, but hey, to each their own. Anyways, I'm going to wrap up this video here. My comment section is always wide open. I can't wait to interact with all of you even more and get your thoughts. Thank you so much to everyone in the community for being part of this. And before you go, hit this video with a like if you enjoyed it or found it informative, or even want to show support, or just hit that like button so I don't feel so sad that I got a redemption pack. But yeah, thank you all again. And subscribe as well if you're not subscribed for more Kobe content. And one last time, one big thank you, and I will see you again soon with more Kobe cards.